Good evening, Speed Gaming 3, and welcome to some more Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 4. Tonight we have the Immortals versus Shaktool's Game. This is spoiler log week, so we have a pilot for these runners that has a spoiler log. On the Immortal side, we have Duke Firebird. His pilot will be Roach. And on Shaktool's Game side, we have Aussie, piloted by Azure. My name is Tracy, and with me tonight is Wolflink. How you doing, Wolflink?
Good evening, everyone. I'm doing very good, Tracy. So, as we said, this is a spoiler, and it's also key sanity as well, so which means all the keys are not in their vanilla dungeons. And this mode is deceptively hard, actually. Unlike normal spoiler races that you might see, there is no study time. So our routers are going to be doing a live route. That means there can be mistakes, which could cost them time. And also, the runner's execution, they can opt to not pick up any safeties whatsoever, which can also lead to some deaths that could set you back and cost you a little bit more time as well. This is a very open-ended race, and more importantly, the runners will know where the other one is, because unlike normal randomized races, they are completely allowed to see everything the other player does, as we get a sword out of Link's house immediately.
Yeah, Aussie just checking Link's house and getting that sword. That's really nice. A lot of times these runners will have set openers so that their pilots can go through the spoiler log and try and figure out what to do. Aussie, you know, these starts are both of these starts pretty standard. Aussie doing the Link's house and reset into, or sorry, save and quit into Sanctuary, and Duke just going ahead and starting a Sanctuary. Little advantage for Aussie having that sword. That'll be nice for him. But this matchup, this is a really tough matchup for the Immortals. With just the one win, they kind of need to start getting some wins here. Shaktool's Game had a bit of a setback last week, going 0-2 in the casual boots mode. So they're going to be really wanting to get a win. And Aussie, one of the best at spoiler log. He won the last regular tournament a year ago summer. Azure no slouch himself on the spoiler logs, and also two really of the better executing players. So it's going to be a very much an uphill battle for Duke Firebird and the Immortals.
And we're already seeing a lot of items at our disposal. Also finding bombs are very important to route in some early on if you can get them. We also found the flute inside Lost Woods, as well as the small key to Desert Palace. And of course, we also have a map to Ganistera, which doesn't do anything but actually doesn't do anything, period, as we get the blue mail.
Doesn't do a thing. They already know what dungeons are pendants and what dungeons are crystals. But this is, again, you know, during this opener, going to Kakariko makes a lot of sense. It's a very item-dense area, and our runners can be checking the items. Oh, a tree pull from the Mario picture. Very nice. Means we want money for something. But yeah, you want... doing this kind of item-dense area makes a lot of sense, because while you're cleaning up a nice item-dense area, and maybe you're getting some stuff you don't necessarily need, but your pilot can be studying the log and trying to figure out where to send you next.
Yeah, and also to point out here, underneath the trackers, you see that our tracker, Seiryu X, has already listed out the pendants and crystals for our seed today. So we have a green pendant in Hera, and our 5-6 are at Swamp and Turtle Rock. No pendant information, or no medallion information yet, though, although that is also in the spoiler log, as is the poultry, actually, that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Seiryu X will get to it. Our trackers, I always call them the MVPs, because they do the hard work, and we couldn't do this without them. Yeah, try watching a stream without a tracker, without commentary. Yeah, no, it's not so bad, but tracker, yeah, it's just not going to work. Ooh, a hammer at Saha.
Also, the ice ride, which I forgot to mention in the well as well.
You were trying to not use that word, weren't you?
I was trying not to use it twice, yeah.
And of course, both runners getting that nice safety, the blue mail, because, you know, you talked about this earlier. You're not going to get as many safeties. Aussie already skipping on a container heart that was sitting there in Blind's hut, so... Also, it looks like he missed the flute, so maybe walking back to go get it.
Yeah, and that's where I was talking about with the live routing here. It's very easy, especially early game, for the router to miss something as they are trying to parse the information in the log. So now Aussie has to double back and get this flute, which she could have picked up on his initial trip to Kakariko.
Well, it looks like it's in the Lost Woods, so it makes sense to skip this initially and let your pilot figure out if there's anything there. So I don't think this is too much of a time loss, but yeah, he definitely loses a little bit of time here. And he'll activate that flute, and then we'll see where he goes to. It looks like Duke is going to go ahead and get that hammer over at Saha.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, both runners are allowed to see each other's feeds. That is normally not allowed in a randomizer, but because of the spoiler log race, that is legal for the race, as is watching the restream here on our and on SpeedGaming 3.
Also interesting, it sounds like somebody was messing up there right from their left as Duke opens up the map before getting the hammer. It makes a little more sense when you just open all of them. And, you know, like it's not unusual for the pilot to say, oh, go to Saha's hut and get your hammer. And then you go and you get it, and then you open up the other two chests because you don't know which one's which, or you just feel like opening the other ones. But just opening two of them. Ooh, bush crab with the money. So it'd be interesting to see if that's... Too. Yeah, this could be a Zora thing. This could be a just money for pod thing. You can go a spoiler log see without having to spend any money whatsoever, although that's pretty rare.
Smoking and Meyer thus far.
Meyer Small, I'm surprised he picked that up. Meyer Smallkey's pretty useless, but you know, that mirror is kind of important.
Probably wants the key for routing, or just doesn't know which chest to open, so he just
yeah, I think it's more likely, and they're both getting the small key to Meyer.
Now, I suppose I should be upfront about this. I don't know about Tracy here, but I have not looked at the spoiler log. And
no,
our tracker
I never
definitely has.
I never look at the spoiler log until at least until the end. I like to look at it at the end to find out where the things that we're not getting are. So, you know, if we don't get all 4 swords, I like to see where that last sword is. Occasionally, you'll see a lamp in a bad spot that people will skip. That sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to keep myself completely in the dark for this race, and that's probably for the best. What the? I have never seen that buddy sprite. That's supposed to be a new sprite here, actually, on Duke's end.
Yeah, I don't even know what the regular Link sprite there is, so I certainly couldn't tell you the bunny sprite. And it looks like there's something either in Paradox Cave or in Spiral Cave. Yeah,
neither runner opting to enter Tower Heritage, but really,
then not surprised. And in fact, if there's nothing in Hera, they won't do it until the very end, because then you can just do it real quick. Although it's a pendant anyway, so they probably just never go there.
Yeah, the only reason they would do it is if it was absolutely required on the green pendant, or there's something upstairs, which they need either the big key or the hook shot. Either one really works for the same purpose.
No, I mean, if there's something on the first floor, you'd go grab that, but clearly there isn't. We're getting gloves in Spiral Cave, so that's kind of important.
2 of the 3 pieces of Darkhold Axis. We still don't have the Moon Pearl, though. Maybe it's also up here on Death Mountain as we head over to Paradox.
Yeah, well, nobody's saving and quitting, so I fully expect a Paradox obviously has something that the runners need or want. Well, I'd say, in terms of Ossie's case, because I don't think he'd be going this far out of the way for safeties. I don't think Duke Firebird would either, to be honest.
Bottle
and a bottle and a full container heart is a nice safety to get, and they might need the bottle.
Yeah, bottle puts Sick Kid into available checking. Words.
It makes Sick Kid available.
Yeah.
Also, we saw a seed the other day that I commentated where the potion glitch to the right side of pod was virtually required based on where all the items were in that seed. Obviously not hard required, but it was definitely interesting. And Aussie saving, quitting, Duke Firebird doing the bomb jump, but I'm not sure what else there is for him to do here.
I don't know either.
Oh, he just wants to float away. But yeah, there's no reason to do the bomb jump if you're just floating away. We're gonna see back of escape from Aussie. Maybe this is Moon Pearl and back of escape. Or boots! Gotta love them boots.
And 2 big keys as well.
Two potentially useless big keys. I wonder if there's something in one of those big chests. Or if they just picked them up because they weren't sure yet.
Well, one of them is definitely useless because it only locked 1 check. The other one is logically required, but we have Icebreaker. We don't really care about logic.
No,
library?
We do care about logic. We just don't. We follow the logic. We know the logic, but we break the logic when it's convenient. But if you forget the logic, you're gonna run into lots of trouble. But yeah, the logically speaking, you need the Ice Palace big key, but you're not going to pick it up. I'm sure not going to go out of your way to pick it up unless you actually have something in the big chest. Same thing, and Swamp, of course, is not logically required at all. So, looks like a desert ledge, piece of heart. Cassie decides, why not? I'll pick it up. I'm right here anyway.
Meanwhile, looks like we did get the medallion information, and it's reverse vanilla requirements. Quake and Ether, but on the other dungeon that it's supposed to be.
Duke, you're missing something.
At least he has the mirror.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the thing he's missing will be found shortly in the eastern part of the desert here. There's also a map.
It's always a joke when you find the map to this dungeon.
There's that Moon Pearl. Okay, there we go.
So, Darkwood Axis and early boots. Fairly nice opener.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I like to use the terms early in spoiler logs, just because there are just certain items that you're going to prioritize more. That in a normal run, you're just not going to get to early, and it just feel early in spoiler. But I mean, let's say if there's an item in Aegina, for instance, you might not get to an item, like say like an ice rod or something. You might not get to that item for a long time.
Oh, I don't think Rusty picked that up.
Yeah, he'll go get that when he needs it. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, back to the early thing. Whereas you know where everything is in the spoiler log.
And we find the hookshot there in Hype Cave.
I mean, that could very well be the case of when Aussie gets to, is ready to go TR, and they're like, okay, where's that hookshot? Or sorry, where's that ether? Oh yeah, it's there. Or he might just come back and get it when he's in the mire area to do that. Ether is not going to make a huge difference in the short term. Slightly more inefficient though, which is never a good thing.
Yeah, he'll have to go back to the front side of the dungeon when he has to go finish up desert, but he has to go do desert anyway because it is a crystal.
Yeah, he has to do desert. He has to do mire. So our first pod small key. Those are always fun. Nice thing about spoiler is you don't have to worry about the logic of needing 6 pod smalls to do everything. You get the amount you need to get.
Well, the thing is, we don't have to worry about too much because it's a pendant.
Yeah, but there's obviously something there because we picked up a pod small. It sure looks like Ossie's headed that way. I mean, it's key sanity. It's rare to be able to skip all your pendant dungeons. Heck, it's rare to be able to skip any of your pendant dungeons. Although Hera is it definitely Hera being 6 items is a little more likely to be skippable. Pod being 12 items or 14, whatever it is, it's a lot. So when you take out those 6 small keys from Pod, it turns out there's a lot of items in there.
Yeah, and only going in with 1 small key makes me think that there's not a vanilla small key in the dungeon.
Well, not in a good spot anyway.
And the bow is in back here as well.
Duke Firebird back in the mire area. Let's see what he wants. Looks like this is what we want from... Ooh, a big key. Big key to desert. Wonder if there's something in the desert big chest. Duke Firebird going into Hera, so maybe there is something in Hera.
Doing hook speed.
Meanwhile, Aussie gonna go into the village of outcasts. Duke Firebird gets the Hera pot.
And Seagulls broke himself a Master Sword and is already out.
Yeah. I wonder if Aussie and Azure are even worrying about the sword situation.
Probably not. That sword is like right outside Ganon's tower, so if needed, they can just go in and get it up real quick. If they are still at Fighter Sword by that point.
I'm laughing because Aussie started to do hammer pegs. I wonder if that's just a bit of muscle memory. But clearly what they want is either on the Smiths or on Purple Chest. Nope, it's on the Smiths. You have to turn the Smith to even get to the Purple Chest, so he had to do that regardless. Let's see, are we grabbing the... It looks like we got a Fire Rod, so that's Skull Woods. And we don't care about the Purple Chest, at least not for now.
Actually, I learned the other day that you don't need to help the Smiths to spawn the Purple Chest.
You need to turn them in, you don't need to actually get the item.
Yeah, no, that's what I meant.
Okay. And Aussie booking it to Skull Woods. And looks like we got some Dark Death Mountain stuff going on here on Duke's side.
Tempered.
Yeah, Duke really prioritizing, and his pilot Roach really prioritizing those swords.
Yeah,
Aussie says, I don't need those swords, I can do this fight without. It's an extra heart container because it looks like it was on path. And a cane. Okay, yeah, that heart container definitely on path. Cane, gonna be required.
Meanwhile, Flipper's just found over in Hookshot Cave, there on Duke Firebird's end. And something is on the floating island. I didn't quite catch what it was before.
Yeah, I don't think we saw it because they're not gonna peek it if they can look it up. And I felt like for a second, Aussie and Azure were debating whether he should finish this dungeon now. Fighter Sword Moth, not the greatest fight ever. Something I'm sure that Aussie will be able to do. And if he really didn't want to do it, he would not. And I think that Pod Small, I think that was that's going to be to pick up. I already forget what was in Pod. But that's a different pod. Yeah, that was a different pod key than Aussie picked up. So. Both seem pretty on path, though.
Yeah, so far I like Duke's routing here, prioritizing having a combat advantage over LC. That'll help speed up a lot of the boss fights that they still have to do.
Yeah, and I think for Duke, I think he needs that a little bit more than Aussie does, and so it makes sense for him to just, get those swords as quickly as he can.
And also, getting another combat weapon, the bow was in King's Tomb. Or at least one of them.
I was going to say a bow was in King's Tomb. Of course, the other one could be in GT, we don't know. Yeah,
Nice hammer moth.
I mean, if you can do hammer moth that good, you don't need a sword before going here.
Meanwhile, the big key to, I believe that was TR, showed up in the sick kid.
Yeah, I want to say Aussie did that. Maybe not. Could be
I do not think
confusing a
Aussie
different
has
race.
done that yet. No.
But they did get the bottle, and so now we know that the bottle is required for something. So. Oh, looks like Duke farming for some money too. Strangely enough, with the completely different routes and completely different ways of getting money, they both have the same amount of money. Although Aussie's already paid for pod. Okay, now Aussie's gonna get this stuff over here on Deathman. It'll be interesting to see if he goes and gets that sword in Hera. If he chooses to get another one elsewhere, or if he just decides to go without. I mean, the thing is, Master Sword Silverless is pretty slow, and even if you're really good at it, you're still going to lose time to a weaker opponent, Master Sword versus Tempered. So it wouldn't surprise me if he decides to get it. I kind of like this routing to get there better, but yeah, I agree that for Duke Firebird in particular, getting those swords before doing something like Skullwoods makes a lot of sense. Whereas, like I said, if you can do a hammer moth as good as Aussie just showed, you don't need to get your scores before that.
Yeah, and I see our tracker is might have misclicked there on the big key, but it does bring up a good point here. We do have access to Turtle Rock, but we still need to get a few more small keys for the rest of the dungeon to be in logic.
Yeah, I mean, to complete Turtle Rock, you need 3 small keys. To full clear it, you need all 4. So if there's nothing in Lava Chest, you'll see the runners picking up 3 small keys. If there's something in there, you'll see them getting all 4. Obviously picking up his flippers. Also picking up a small key to Ganon's Tower that looks like Duke didn't get, which is, a small point. You don't need any Ganon's Tower small keys to do the dungeon. You can steal the pot key, so long as you're not actually doing the basement. And I think Aussie is going to go ahead and grab a Tempered Sword.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, Duke, no! That's never fun to fall down there and then just immediately get knocked out. Oh, nice hook speed Hera pot from Aussie.
Yeah, getting it first try. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I don't know that I understand this routing through Skullwoods from Duke. You just go in the front, grab your lamp. I don't know if he had a... I mean, you can... Did he grab the... Oh, it was a heart container that Aussie got that he didn't. That's what it was. So that makes sense. I mean, I don't... Oh, the difference was Aussie had a small key. That was the difference, and Duke did not. So, okay. So, yeah, if you don't have a small key, you need to save it by falling down the hole. And especially with the, in the old days, you could steal this key right here that Duke just got. But that was when the pinball room small key was always a small key, and that's no longer the case. So if you don't have a small key, then you need to fall down the hole. And if you do have a small key, then you have other options.
I'll see. Meanwhile,
yeah, see there. Yeah, can get that ether now. And probably gonna beat the dungeon now too. I suspect.
It is in logic. We do have both big and small keys for desert. We're gonna also see what's in the big chest here.
Yeah, and this may be why he decided not to pick it up when in the first place. Because Big Key Thieves Town, kind of an important thing, and saved him. I think this was a little more efficient than the way the Immortals did it. But, I keep in mind, a lot of this is, when you're looking up the spoiler log, it's not like the game gives you, or the log gives you the path to get through the game. There's a lot of searching. I know Aussie uses a spreadsheet to try and organize the information, but of course he's the runner in this case. Azure, I know, I think he tends to take notes on a paste bin, if he takes notes at all.
So we are actually fairly close to go mode. We still need to
We're
find.
in go mode. It's spoiler lock. I like to call it no mode in spoiler because that's when we know that they have all the things that they need. As for the runners, I mean, they have a spoiler lock. There's really the concept of go mode kind of goes out the window, I think. But yeah, we're getting close to that no mode. We need Quake.
We need Quake. We need the
And
Meyer
we need
Big
some
Key,
keys. Meyer Big Key.
GT Big Key, and then
GT
the TR Smalls.
Yep. Also, I wonder if Ossie's even gonna pick up the bow. Because Eastern and Pod, both being pendant dungeons, that bow's not hard required. And, you know, people know Ossie for the Moldorm bounce, but he was the one he either found or perfected. I'm not sure which. I have to ask him. The mimic clip that's used in GT, and pretty darn good at it, so. He might just choose not to get the bow at all. Oh, there's that Turtle Rock Big Key. That bow is a little bit out of the way, so I'll be interested to see if he chooses to mimic clip in this one.
He does have the option to do it.
Yep.
Those for the most part, though, that we don't have to touch our pendant dungeons, which is a nice thing to see. That means we don't have anything on pet, unfortunately, but cannot be.
Your definition of unfortunate is different than my definition of unfortunate. I'm never sad to see nothing on bed.
I mean, this scene can just be long and boring, probably no, but it looks like it's actually quite fast. So.
I would say there's not a lot. I mean, C's always have something interesting going on.
Yeah, but I prefer the good kind of interesting over the bad.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what your definition of good interesting. To me, pet is not good interesting. There's and to be fair, there's a lot of things that are much worse than pet that could show up in a randomizer seed.
And in the case of Sporehog, okay, he's Andy, suddenly showing up, say, in TR Lava Chest. I believe I commented in a race earlier this week that had something there.
Yep. Yeah, Lava Chest is if you have to having to get all 4 TR Smalls. There were I'm not going to go through it, but there was some pretty convoluted logic in the seed I commentated yesterday. Not too bad for a spoiler log situation, but if you'd had to run it straight up, it would have been very, very interesting.
Alright, also heading down to the basement of Thieves Town. Wonder if there's anything down here he's going to pick up.
He's going to pick up the maiden.
I mean, in terms of items.
Maybe nothing. Or maybe 50 rupees.
I mean, it was right there. I would expect him to just grab that chest.
Well, there's also, the muscle memory is real in these things.
Yeah, and that doesn't take too much time to grab, so not a big time loss.
Yeah, and in fact, it's the quick chest so that the muscle memory really get you on. Yeah, it's much easier to say don't go to that chest that's behind a bazillion things. Yeah, don't skip that one, but the one that's just right there, much harder to skip. I know I have a bad habit of always picking up the Moldorm 2 chest, no matter what, even if I have every single thing under the sun.
Speaking of muscle memory, the fight that your muscle memory benefits from, Blind.
Yeah, very nice staying on script for Aussie. Piece of heart, not exactly helpful. I mean, it's helpful if we get enough of them, I suppose.
That is crystal number 3 of the match, though, and we do have Swamp House available to clear as well. And Isis, too, for that matter.
Yep. It looks like Duke wants to do Swamp first. Best thing about Spoiler Log, you don't have to guess what's on left side Swamp. You know whether you have to go there or not.
Sure enough.
Okay,
sure enough.
Aussie is good. Looks like Aussie does want to get that bow. Yeah, some people in chat were saying this is probably faster than mimic clipping, and you know, I think Aussie's pretty good at mimic clipping. And probably can do pretty fast, but the bow's right there, so it makes sense for him to pick it up.
Yeah, no, the race gets close near the end. The difference between having the bow and not and doing mimic clips could have been a deciding factor. So good on Aussie for making sure that wasn't a factor. It looks like he may be just slightly ahead based on crystal count. But of course, we don't know until we get the last item, or at least see it.
Well, I would say it's a little bit harder in Spoiler Log to make up time, so yeah, I definitely would put Aussie in the lead. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot left to be played, a lot of Spoiler Log yet left to be read.
And a lot of execution to, well, execute.
Yeah, that's true, but that's the one place where I'd say Aussie has the biggest advantage. He's definitely the higher execution player. So while it's not over, being behind in this kind of race style is never good if you're the lower execution player. But you know, the Immortals are in the Invitational for a reason, so you know it's like you say, not over yet. Like, it looks like Aussie left something that he wants to get in the compass room, and we'll have to redo some of this stuff. Yeah, big key to Misery Mire, kind of important.
And in there as well, we saw our first TR small, I believe.
Okay, Duke leaving that Swamp Big Chest, that means that when the runners picked up the big key to Swamp Palace, they didn't actually need it. And I hope that's the case, and that he didn't just forget that he had to open that chest. Okay, that's something I've never seen before. Normally, if you do the diver down that Duke just did on the left side of the room, you don't have to jump into the water. I've actually never seen someone jump into the water doing it on the left side like that. So that's a new one for me. Doing it on the right side, you do have to jump into the water, is my understanding. On the left side, you don't. You'll see that when Aussie gets over there.
I believe
the
that
the speedrunner strat is to do it on the left side and not jump into the water. It's a little bit faster.
I believe it is the OG setup, and that might be the one he's most comfortable knowing.
Yeah, no, the setup for speedruns is on the left side, but you don't jump into the water. Like I said, you'll see it on Aussie's side when he gets there. I'm just really, I find it really interesting that you can execute that glitch by jumping into the water like that. I find that really interesting.
Nice quick kill of Argus there, and we're about to see the big ice lump fall.
Also, Aussie using the sword beam strat, which I think is really neat. I like that strat. I use it on occasion myself. Actually, I use it a lot myself if I have sword beams.
Alright, nothing major out of Swamp Palace. Only a heart container. Oh, safeguard even on Cold Stare.
Didn't you say there was a TR small there?
Yeah, that was in the south chest of Swamp Palace. It was not on the boss.
Yes. Oh, nothing major on the boss. Gotcha. And I suspect the runners are just gonna swap places.
Makes sense to me.
Nope, Aussie has something else he has in mind first. Oh, we're gonna go over to the Zora area. It's obviously not Zora, because we still don't have money, unless there's a 300 sitting here in Waterfall Ferry.
If it is, it's amazing routing on his pilot's end.
Or it could just be Quake, which is also needed.
So item-wise, we are in go mode, but we're not done yet with that. We still need to find the keys.
Again, I'll call it no mode because, you know, we know where the things are. They know where all the things are without having to actually have them. So, I just don't think there's a concept of go mode in spoiler. There is no mode for us though. And so now we're just in key mode for those of us watching. And yeah, Ossie's gonna go ahead and do Swamp Palace. We'll see if he also skips the big chest. If he does, then we'll know that it just was they didn't need to actually pick up the big key. We also saw Ossie skip the big chest of ice, so I'm guessing, again, hoping that that's just didn't actually need the key when they picked it up. It also could be, you know, a lot of times if a pilot sees a big key that is not hard required, it's possible they haven't actually looked into the dungeon, and it's usually easier just to pick those keys up than it is to go through this log and wait to find out that yes, you do need it, no, you don't. And probably faster as well. And then you have it if you need it, and if you don't need it, then you know you've lost like a couple, maybe a second picking it up out of the chest. And my guess on both the runners' parts, both teams' parts, I'm guessing that's what actually happened. Also, one other thing I'm going to point out, I believe both runners picked up those arrows in the icebreaker room. You might be wondering why pick up arrows, but thing is, when you're not getting all the junk fill items, sometimes you route those in when you can, especially if they're on path. It's also good to know, you know, if you're an NMG runner, you know where all the pots are. That's also super useful. Because, you know, you're not, if you know, let's say there's something behind Ice Armos, which I doubt is going to be, I mean, that's not going to be the case here unless the GT big key's there. You're going to want to have those arrows.
Something I just realized, though, Duke never did pick up the swamp or the ice big key, so he couldn't have opened that chest.
No, I think that they both picked up. I thought they both picked up both of these.
We'll have to see a pause menu at some point, although...
Because they were, because we won't see a whole lot of pause menus. Actually, that's my least favorite part about Quick Swap, is we don't get to keep ourselves honest with Quick Swap. Okay, chat saying Duke left them.
Yeah, that's what I was going off of.
Yeah, Ossie skipping the big chest. So, nothing in there.
Good corralling. And nice kill there.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice kill. Actually, Duke had the better kill for Argus. Now, watch what Ossie does. He's just going to sword buffer and then just, you know, not jump into the water at all. That's the speedrunner strat. It's not the NMG strat because you can't use diver down in NMG, but a lot of the more glitch speedruns allow it, and that's the strat that's used. A little faster, a little more consistent than jumping into the water. And no doubt Duke's gonna go pick up his Quake medallion now. So essentially, Duke and the Immortals, a Thieves' Town behind.
Question is, where are they gonna go next?
I imagine Duke will do Thieves' Town, although it doesn't really matter when you do that. Let's see, Misery Mire is full clearable, so we might see that. Yeah, Misery Mire, and then getting those Turtle Rock Smalls and the GT Big.
Considering we haven't seen the GT Big, it's probably actually in Gas.
I mean, yeah, it absolutely could be, and maybe, you know, I use that example of the Ice Armos, and maybe it actually is there. Yeah, you are right. Completely useless item on Arcus. Map's completely useless in spoiler log.
Yeah, in normal key sanity, they're fine to have, though, because they tell you the information on the map.
Yep, on the dungeons, yeah, whether pendant or crystal.
And they even give a little indicator now in key sanity if they find it in the dungeons, you don't have to leave and check, which is actually a very nice change. I like that. Yeah,
the indicator is there no matter what the mode. It's just it doesn't come up until you have a map in the key sanity modes. It's probably another Turtle Rock small key in the Mire big chest. That's a nice on-path one. if there's anything else here in Mire.
I mean, about the only thing that we care about in Mire is the Turtle Rock small keys, which we've already
There
found
could be
one.
another one. I'm guessing there's another, because this is not the route to Vitreous. Or the GT Big. Because, yeah, we're down to, for no mode, one more TR small, and Ganon's Tower Big.
And there is
there
the
it
GT
is.
Big.
Also, Aussie showing off some more NMG or speedrun style routing, picking up the K and then falling off a little bit faster.
And Duke getting straight to the boss. This might indicate that
There's nothing else here.
Well, I was gonna say that maybe that we have a vanilla TR small somewhere.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That isn't not. I mean, TR and Pod are probably the most famous or maybe infamous for having their own small keys.
And with the 2 small keys they have, they can go all the way down the laser bridge to find the last one.
Yeah, I mean, the last one could be literally anywhere. There could even be a small in lava chest, which would do absolutely no good for the runners.
It's kind of like the ice run situation. The only place the Turtle Rock small can't be is on Trinex or GT for that matter.
Yep. At least when we're not doing like an all dungeons mode. And Aussie really making quick work of this Misery Mire. Is almost caught up to Duke in the dungeon. Also, nice spooky action.
Now, no invisibility items with this Vitreous fight, so they'll have to be a little careful. That slime is trap level damage, so it's going to do 1 heart fixed.
Yeah, I think Aussie's going to have a little easier time. He's very used to the typical NMG kill. You can already see him, just already way ahead. Yeah, Aussie also famous for the double beeps. And in fact, yeah, very nice kill from Aussie. He's going to actually finish this before Duke does, even though he came in quite a bit later. And that green rupee does absolutely no good.
Now that lighting is completely random, I should mention. There's no seeding that. Unlike Ganon warps and Argus teleports.
Yeah, what's not seeded?
The lightning strikes.
The lightning strikes happen after every eyeball has made an attack. So that's not a seeding thing. That's not even an NMG thing.
Well, no, I meant the lightning's pathing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I believe it changes direction like every frame. So there is absolutely no way to predict what way it's going to arc. All you have to know is that you got to get out of the direct cone in front of it.
Yep, and guess what, Wolflink? I think you're right. I think there's a small key in Turtle Rock.
I say again, have not looked at the spoiler log. I'm just reading the seed as I see it.
Well, yeah, and like I said, yeah, Turtle Rock will have its own small keys. Turtle Rock and Pod. I mean, it makes sense because they have the most each, 4 in TR and 6 in Pod.
Before we're going to head over and do these down here. So yeah, at this point we can pretty much safely say Aussie is in the lead, being a full dungeon ahead of this.
Yeah, being a Thieves Town ahead. Extremely curious where the which chest that TR small key is. Wouldn't even be unusual to find 2 small keys.
I'm gonna say one of them's in the chain shot room.
Yeah, get your guesses in. Where is that TR small gonna be? It's not in the front of the dungeon. Asi and Azur's teammate Hitaka saying 1. I hope it's not chain chomps, because there's a really nice key dash you can do in this room, unless the NMG's wrong. But it looks like it is. Yeah, he's going for this chest. I mean, there are a few other things he might pick up. Nope, it is the chain chomps. Darn it! Darn it! The worst room, yeah, that room, like, I learned this running co-op for SMZ3 recently. It almost always seemed like my partner was the one that went through first, and then I got to do the key dash. And let me tell you, it's a very satisfying key dash. Except when you get the one of the 12 NMGs that screws you over, because there's something like 12 NMGs in that room. And RNGs, sorry. Because I was going to say shout-outs to the NMG runners that know all of them and can adjust accordingly.
I'd like to point out once again that I have not read the spoiler log. That was a complete guess, and I got it right.
It happens. I mean, what's the worst? It's the worst spot for it, so why not?
I wasn't even thinking it was the worst. I just thought it would be nice to have it early on.
No, I think it's the worst. I would rather have, like, Crystal Roll Room would be a good one.
In any case, that is now go mode for Aussie 101. We know it for sure now.
Yeah, again, we'll call it no mode for us.
No, it's straight up go. He has nothing. There's nothing else he needs.
You start and go because they have a spoiler lock.
You know what? Fair. But at least in terms of chat size, it's go mode.
Yeah, so it's no mode. That's why I call it no mode. No mode is when we know where all the items are. And we know where all the items are. Although we'll see if there's like a silver arrows or a gold sword on path somewhere that either of the runners pick up.
Anyway, blind down for Duke Firebird. He's gonna head up to TR now.
Yep, he's got everything he needs except that small key. He'll pick it up on the way.
Nice cane dash there. And Chad, this is normally our guess is it, but unfortunately it's Key Sandy. We already have the big key. Once we get this dungeon done, we're going straight up.
Now, if anybody wants to guess what negative number the big key was, you can go back to the VOD and see if you're right.
About the only thing I could see also going downstairs for is if really close by is the silver arrows or something like tap magic or a cape to just make the fight a little bit smoother for Ganon.
No, he's not wouldn't go for a cape. Maybe a half magic. Silver arrows in Hope Room or on the torch, I could definitely see going for. Especially knowing that he's got this a pretty decent lead here.
Yeah, he can afford to take some time to grab some extra things real quick in the early parts of the basement, but going as deep as like the map room, I'd say it's not worth it anymore.
Nah, I think the only way you go beyond Hope Room / torch is one of two things. One, GTB keys and GT. Then you just kind of have to. The other would be if you're on Master Sword. I could see going a little further out of your way for a tempered.
Yeah, but I can still see them just like choking Stalfo's room and then mirroring back.
Yeah, I think Stalfo was a little too far. I would say Hope or Torch. And
well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what Asi decides to do.
Is there something Aussie wants to pick up before heading up top?
Nope.
The answer is no.
And this is about when I start downloading the spoiler log and seeing what we got. So.
Yeah, pretty much all execution at this point, unless it's at the very top of the tower, which they're going to open something up. But at that point, they have plenty of time to diverge.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff on the top is so on the way that if you want it, you're just going to grab it.
Yeah, the router has plenty of time to check them in advance.
Okay, spoilers, we're not getting another sword. Let's see.
I had a feeling this last one's probably in, like, if I had to guess, probably on Helpless Working or something like that.
We're not getting another bow either. So for those of you who want to know, so the other sword is in Rando Room. I suppose I could have waited on that one just in case Duke Firebird decided to pick it up, but I can't see that. The other bow is in Eastern Palace Big Chest. So, I guess I should find out where the big key is for Eastern.
I mean,
harder,
it's probably...
that's harder to look up though. It's actually legit hard to look up big keys.
I mean, I'm just gonna say it's probably deep pod.
Oh, hey. This might be why they picked up the Swamp Palace big key. The big chest has the Eastern Palace big key.
Ah.
There you go. Decided not to get that bow, though, so... It definitely would have been much further out of the way. And Rossi pointing out that's vanilla. I was a little quicker on the uptake than I was. Both of you and Rossi. Okay, chat, anything else you want to know the location of? Because I'll look it up for you.
Well, while we're waiting on the chat's responses here we're going to see, obviously now, is Elk in the fire rooms.
Okay, I guess bugnet is 2 words. What? Okay, I'll just look up net. That'll find it. Somebody wants to know where the bugnet is. It's in the Hyrule Castle Boomerang chest.
That's actually not that far in. That's like the middle chest, but on the way to...
Yeah, I think it's the second one. Yeah, it's the second one.
Powder would be nice to have, though, but I'm sure they don't need it. Well, that's start from the road. Nice.
Too bad that wasn't Sankart. Oh, so we want to know where Cape is, let's find Cape.
Yeah, we don't have an invincibility item yet, do we?
Yeah, we weren't going to get Cape. It was Pyramid Fairy, along with another pod small key.
Yeah, I know. What about the blue game, though? That's one I'm actually curious about.
Beestown ambush chest, which is the one, which is the second one you usually pick up, the one where you walk back and the little jelly guys try and ambush you.
So they wanted invincibility for they could have had it.
Yeah, that actually isn't a bad location if you want to pick that up.
Anybody the IT fight going on right now? Duke Firebird lining up for a spin. Doesn't quite get the double spin, but definitely takes down Trinex. And as Trinex falls, so too does Aghanim in Ganon's tower. It is time for Aussie to fight the pig.
Yeah, I mean, I missed a large part of that climb looking at the spoiler log, but yeah, he did that very fast. Yeah, actually really a little sad because it's really impressive to watch the top speedrunners do the climb because that part of the game just isn't that different than the NMG run.
And this is going to be an easy sub-hour. Very nicely paced seed. This one was actually not bad, honestly.
No, I mean, gosh, what was the worst thing that they had to do? I can't even think of anything that... Did they even double dip? They double dip desert. I think that was it. Was that the only double dip?
Yeah, and double dip desert is not too terribly uncommon, or it is not terribly slow either. Nice 1-and-1 there from Aussie.
And Ganon gonna tell us where those arrows were. We already know. Aussie's setting up for the early, gets the early shot. Gets the torch clutch with the fire rod, which always scares me.
Yeah, it's not going to be a sub 54, unfortunately. Might be a sub 56? It's up. I don't want to say sub 55 because could miss a cycle on the spins.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance this is going to be sub 55, but we'll see. He's getting a lot of triples here.
Oh, he only got a double there, so. And this looks to be a triple. Yep, there we go.
Yep.
And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, get your GCs in chat for Aussie 101 and Team Shaktool's Digging Game pulling out a win here in the first of their 2 matches here in Week 4. And the final finish time is 54 minutes and 44 seconds.
Yeah, GG's. Very nicely done.
That is a very strong time here for Spoiler Log. The routing of the seat was just really good.
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to our. I mean, I think both pilots did a really nice job routing. Just that Aussie's execution is just that good. And unfortunately, when there's not as much deviance there's not the opportunity to get something in a bad spot. It's really hard when you're the weaker execution player.
Yeah, still a strong showing though. Definitely kept up. Probably about maybe.
Basically a dungeon behind,
Yeah, about 2 to 3 minutes behind, I'd say, at this point. Oh, maybe I'm a little bit longer with the Ganon fight still. We'll see if we can get Aussie and...
Yeah, I just sent an invite to Azure because that's not automatic. Aussie, of course, gets the automatic.
We'll see if they will join us here up in the booth. And
it looks like we have Aussie. How you doing, Aussie?
Yeah. This was a very excellent seed. Definitely no complaints here. Walk us through your routing, or route your routing, rather.
I said, what routing? You didn't have to route this.
No, you were the executor.
On Sunday.
Route was the execution there. Did it feel good?
Yeah. Execution was good. Ezra wanted to give me more safeties, but I said no. I got it.
Azure safeties.
Yeah.
But those are 2 words I don't typically associate together.
And I had to tell him no. Too many safeties.
Yeah, I one of the parts that I really liked, your hammer moth fight. The swords were available; you could have gone and gotten them, but then you just said nope. Whose idea was that? Was that yours? Go kill moth now, or do it later.
Yeah, that was mine. That was one of those things. It's like it was 5 or 6 hearts. Hammer moth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it clearly. very, very nice fight there.
But yeah, the swords were pretty available.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably better to get them first for consistency's sake.
So question about the bow. Was there any thought to just mimic clipping since the bow was not hard required?
Nah. Mimic clipping costs time.
Mm-hmm. That bow was not that far out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm not that fast at it. And it's easy to lose extra time mimic clipping if you're off by a frame.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if the bow had been a really bad spot, then, that's a different story. But yeah, King's Tomb is just not that far out of the way.
Yep, exactly.
In fact, I'm sure you all saw that the other bow was sitting there in the Eastern Palace big chest, with the big key sitting in Swamp Palace big chest. You initially picked up in the same spot, both that big key and the Ice Palace big key. Was there thought of getting the other bow, or was that just hey, pick up the item? And I think it was, I want to say it was Saha, pick up the item here, and it just ended up picking up all three, or maybe it wasn't there. I forget where those were, but they were in the same spot.
Yeah, that's what happened. It was just to pick up all the items in the area.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the bow in Eastern early and just said, "We're not getting that." He didn't even tell me which chest it was. So.
Oh, yeah, it was a big chest, so yeah, definitely understandable.
Yeah, it was pretty late for our route if we wanted to go back for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice that you only need one pod small too.
Now your router, Asder, will be racing tomorrow. Sunday. Who is going to be the pilot for his race?
That will be me. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more practice in piloting side before then. Execution's easy to practice. You just play the game more. But
which you're already pretty good at.
Yeah, piloting takes some thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, G5 is now on phase 4 here of Ganon.
Ooh, down to a heart and a half. I'm pretty certain does not have any kind of potion. Well, it has the green potion that you all picked up early on. Fortunately, this is probably the easiest phase to not get hit on, but it still needs to not get hit.
Yeah, it's very tricky, the Silverless phase. Just have to make sure you're not in a bad position. You got to lead the fire bat. It's something that once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy, but it can trip you up sometimes still. So this puts your team up to +4. Oh no, we had a fall!
Oops. Yeah, it happens.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys had a tough week last week, so it's good for you to get in track. How you're feeling now that gets you up to 12 points, 4 wins?
Feels like we're in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're expecting to do good in spoiler week.
Mm-hmm.
Good to hear, and hopefully you can catch one of those lower playoff spots and come back and win the whole thing. That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, top 4 seems attainable, even with losses.
Yeah, and of course, I know you're not doing the cross keys next week. Any modes that you are doing that you're looking forward to? I guess there's only a couple. There's the open and the Randomizer week. The co-op Randomizer.
Yep, I do like my Randomizer. And so, like also the playoff. Was it the various modes player?
Yeah,
that's me.
Which is it works out well because I think you like the various modes better than your teammates, and I also know you don't like cross keys. So.
Yep, exactly. It's perfect.
Funny how that works out.
All right, 2-5 on phase 3 once again here.
Got an extra half a heart. I mean, this should be fine. And he's got a green bottle, so the magic's not an issue. And no, we found the arrows in Eastern Palace, but we didn't get them for good reason. But yeah, I mean, like this seed wasn't what we talked about earlier. This seed not too bad in terms of the item placement. But I know some of the practice seeds. How have those been? Any really weird things come up when you guys are practicing?
I guess not really. It felt like Asder's in control when he's piloting. Seems pretty good at it. Something that throws us off is like early dark mode or early dark worlds, where there's a lot of information.
Again.
Okay, let Aussie finish.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, just saying that seeds that give you a lot of information to process all at once are tricky. I was playing a solo spoiler before this, and that was complicated, but that was solo.
Yeah, I mean, solo's different. You get 15 minutes to prep. Yeah, so it's different. And we do have Duke Firebird joining, decided to forfeit this one. A couple of Ganon falls, I can't say I blame you, but GG on the race anyway.
I hate my emulator. So the first fall, the emulator decided to do the little slow down speed up. And I was like, what? So that just, yeah. But Roach is not going to be joining us, just as a heads up. So
okay.
Yeah, looks like we're just gonna have the runners, not the pilots today.
Yeah, but they've done some good. Yeah, they've done some good work here, and GG as well. GG's once again.
GG.
Yeah, that was a heck of a item placement for everything.
Yeah, definitely wasn't a bad seed by any stretch of the words. It just was. It was just a random execution, and as much. And you guys were both really good. Bosse, of course, had the edge on you, though.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, as much as I'd love to continue chatting with you, Duke Firebird, unfortunately, I have been told by.
Yeah, there's another thing coming up. I'm aware of that.
Yeah, we only have a couple more minutes left before we got to clear the room. So.
Yep. Yeah, these tight-knit spoilers, yeah, because obviously we're only allotting a little bit of time, only about an hour and a half for each, because what are the odds of a seed going that long?
Yeah, apparently it can happen, and Wolflink will tell you about that, but yeah, it is much more normal to have it a lot quicker.
Yeah, I'm aware how rare those are for spoilers, but well,
yeah,
GG's, and luck Sunday.
Go ahead. Yeah. Anything else? It looks like Duke Firebird. You don't have any. If you have anything else to say, go ahead. Aussie as well. And we'll read out the schedule and then we'll turn it over to the next race.
Nope. What's fun?
Yep, it's a fun mode, and looking forward to racing again Sunday.
All right. Thanks, guys. If you're not already following these runners, please do so. Also, it's a shame they don't get the pilots in there, but they're apparently since we're swapping on Sunday, we'll get them in there for that on Sunday. Schedule. This will be the last invitational race today. Actually, it was the only invitational race today. Tomorrow, there's quite a bit on the schedule. Starting at noon, we have OK Game versus Team Jaime. That'll be 2C versus Dragon Strike with Wired Wiki and Ravis as pilots. At 4 o'clock, we have Triple Down Disaster versus WJPDTB. That'll be Yoshi versus Willow J. Bradley. No word on the pilots there. At 7, we got I Like Big Boots versus Les French Canadiens. Zero Rush versus Ninban. Also no pilots listed there. At 7:30, Swirly Coin Brewing versus Boomer Friendly. Homemade Beer versus Don Veneer. That'll be CS Tudor and Leviticus on the piloting. And on Friday at 11:59, so at midnight, we have the Sexy Ganons versus Frozen Leftovers. That'll be Freddy versus Chimo. And they also don't list their pilots. So stay tuned tomorrow and find out who all the pilots are. But yeah, that'll do it for us. I'd like to thank everybody, thank our runners, thank Wolflink for joining me on commentary. And of course, big shout outs to Serio X. Trackers, the MVPs, always like to shout them out. They are the most important people here on our little broadcast. And of course, all of you for watching.
And don't forget also to follow Tracy M as well. But yeah, folks, we're going to wrap things up here. So from all of us here at the Link to Vast Randomizer, we shall see you all next time. And thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone. And stay tuned. We got another race for you, although it's not Link to the Past. See you guys then.